Hi everybody. I thought I'd do a short video how to kind of step by step make a tote out of uh, Oshkosh or like branded overalls. I made this one years ago. So up the legs, it's lined, and I use it for knitting projects because it's enough room to carry a couple skeins plus the project. So if you'd like to make something like this smaller, you can go smaller, you can go a little larger, depending what you want to use it for. And then the fun part, of course, is embellishing it after. What you'll need to do is go to the thrift store and find some sort of bib overall garment. And it can be shorts, it can be, overalls that you would, with the long pants, that you would just cut the pants legs off. This is a little skirt one. So you find one you like, and then you choose what your lining's going to be. And I happened upon a box of free stuff at a yard sale. So this nice toil was in the free box. So basically what you want to do is cut a chunk that's going to be as wide as the garment, a little longer. And then all you do is stitch it up. So you want the pretty side showing. So as the bag opens up, this is what you're going to see. All right, so I do not have a sewing machine, so I just do hand stitching, which I won't do live because that'd just be too boring. Do a seam here and do a seam across the bottom. And when I have the seams done, I'll rejoin you, okay? Alrighty, so the running stitch, let's see if you can see that. It's a very simple running stitch. It's not fancy at all. It's just to hold the back and the front of the material together. So what will happen is we'll put this into the bag. And the top gets turned down. So you want kind of the bottom of the lining to pretty much be at the hem. And, little wiggle room's fine, because everything will get sewn together at some point. But see, now that's inside. Okay, so I'm going to undo these guys for now. And then probably the most fiddly part of this process is pinning the lining to the bag. So you're going to turn the bag so that the right sides will meet. And then I'll just put in, this is not forever, this is just to hold it for now. And turn that under, and again put it at the waistband. And before I do a whole lot of pinning, I'm going to make sure that that the length's right, and if it's not, yeah, make sure it's not short. Let's see. So let's see how that is. Okay, so there's that. Boom. Yeah, it looks good. See, it's just a little teeny tiny bit showing here. Could come down just a tad. Maybe I'll do that. So it'll be able to hold a little bit more. So, just a tad. Try that. Because this free fabric was actually pre-lined. I think it was a valance of a curtain. So it's pretty much nice and finished off. That's good. That's good. So again, you just turn under and then pin, 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 pin. And then you're going to sew just with a whip stitch or something more fancy if you want. That is totally up to you. But I'll go ahead and take time to do all the pinning. And then sometimes, you know, since the waist goes in, you have to do a little tuck or a little fold. See, there's going to be some extra. So I'll do a fold. Maybe fold in the back and fold in the front to distribute it. A little gathering would be fine too. Okay. So I'll take time to get that ready, and I'll show you what it looks like before it gets stitched up. Okay. Okay, I thought I'd pop in here. There is extra material. So what I did to ease it was just undo that snap, kind of fold the material in the fold, and then I'll pin that to make it a little more behaving, I don't know, compliant. Because, you know, they tend to, these little projects tend to have their own lives. So see, this is going to be a nice little bucket. All right, so I am going to do the whip stitch around. And then I'll check everything and I'll come back before I sew the bottom shut. But that's where we are now. So, okay, see you after I stitch. Okay, so just to check in, I'm finding that if I go up here at the very end, I can't really get the needle through. Well, actually, no, I just got the needle through. But I was having a hard time because of the density of that little fold. I think you can see. It's the hem, and it's really dense. So I've been going just underneath the stitching where there's more breathing room for the fabric. Because if you're hand sewing and you don't have a thimble, you want to find kind of the path of least resistance. So, and then this is just a simple whip stitch. And again, going under the stitching and up. Basically, you just want to tack it down, keep tacking it down, tack, 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 tack. Okay? So I'm halfway around, and I wanted to show you that I did an oops. And there's a stitch showing right here. You know what? A button can go over that. A piece of lace can go over that. Maybe you do some decorative embroidery. Doesn't matter. So I could cut the thread, undo it. Who has time for that, right? Life's too short to not incorporate all your mistakes and use them as design elements. Okay? All right, back to sewing. Alrighty, so I have finished tacking. The lining in. And we have a nice pocket, and all around it's secure. And now the fun part comes because you get to decorate. So I think I'm going to gather some beads, not some beads, buttons. I'm going to do buttons. And I think that I'm going to find some yo-yos to add too. And while I am going to close the bottom, I'm going to decorate it first because it's just going to be easier to do that. So maybe I'll play around and show you some layout options, but it's all good. Doesn't really matter. You don't have to do a thing to it. You can put your initials on it. You can just put a couple pieces of old jewelry on it. You can do whatever you want. Okay, see you in a bit. Okay, so going through some yo-yos, and there are two sizes, and I'm going with the smaller ones because this is a little teeny bag. But I was lucky enough to find a bag of yo-yos at the St. Vincent de Paul thrift store. So I've enjoyed using those. And then there's plenty more, so I can always go back for more if I somehow run out. So I'll decide how this garden of yo-yo flowers is going to get laid out. And then add buttons to the flowers. Might even pile up buttons. Do like a button and then a smaller button on top. If I can find one. Yeah, it's not the same size. Oh, like here. That would be nice. So, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to play with that. Okay. And it kind of just looks cute with the yo-yos on it. I don't know that I'd have to get much fancier than that. But it's playtime. Okay, so I have all of the yo-yos pinned. And I have, I've been messing around with buttons, but I'm going to do all the sewing first before I concoct the little middles to the flowers. The one thing I will be careful of is keeping pockets intact so that I won't sew all the way through, so then I can't use this pocket. So I will be careful about that. And in fact, I don't even really need to sew these on. I could just attach the buttons, and that would hold them on, and that would be cute. And I might do a couple like that, but I like hand sewing, so I think that's my next step. Truth is, I'm having a little bit too much fun playing with all the buttons, so this is what the layout looks like so far, but I'm going to be adding more buttons as I sew. So I'll come on and show you finished product. Okay?